So at this time of year, you guys, it can be a place where you're either wanting to get back into the good routine or you're wanting to stay in that routine that you always want to go back to. So I wonder if this is you, where you start something, you feel really good, you've got a strategy in place, and you stick to all the things. And then after a period of time, you start to slowly let those pieces go away. So, what am I talking about? Usually, if you start a new plan or a new program on anything, it's going to be exercise, some kind of movement that you're going to do. It's going to be some kind of self reflective mindset activity that you do every single day. It's going to be thinking about the food that you're eating, making sure that you're nourishing yourself in a really good way. Yeah. And usually it's going to be upping your water intake and making sure you're having that 2 to 3 liters a day, right? I wonder if anything sounds familiar. If it does, drop a comment below because I want to hear from you. But what happens when this whole routine starts to end, when it starts to slowly fade or completely fade all in one go? That's what I want to speak to. I want to speak to the idea of if you want to get your life on track, if you want to feel in control, if you just want to feel like you're the master of your own life and you're not letting life happen to you and at you, it's happening because of you and through you, then you need to establish routines and you need to find something that actually works for you. And what do I mean by works for you? I don't mean easy, because a lot of people feel like if they could just have this easy way of moving through their day, then that would be great. It's not that. It's about establishing this incredible self discipline, this self mastery. And I always think of it as being consistent and making a promise to yourself that you continually show up for. So, what would your ideal morning routine be? Let's just start there. For some of you, it's going to be to write in a gratitude journal. It's going to be taking a moment to do some stretching. Maybe it's go outside, get some sunlight first thing in the morning. It's been shown by many different researchers to show that first sunlight in the day is really beneficial for your mood, for your brain chemistry. We also get vitamin D without getting sunburn, of course. So it's just, what is your morning routine? And if you could do that, which part of you would be super stoked? So for me, it would be the part of me that really loves herself, that really wants to nurture herself and be the best version that she can be. That would be the part that would be for me. I wonder what it is for you. Would it be the part of you that's super proud of who you are? Would it be the part of you that feels like, okay, I'm worthy because I'm doing this for myself? Maybe you follow the idea that you need to be always growing and learning. So you read 10 pages of a self-development book, or you spend some time learning through watching a video of some course that you're doing, or you go down the rabbit hole on YouTube on an area that you're interested in. So you watch that for 10 minutes, right? I want you to think about how you can be nurturing the grey matter so that you can actually step more fully into who you want to be. And again, I'm going to ask you, who is this person that you want to be? For me, I always take a cold shower or I jump into an ice bath in the morning. It's just like my non negotiable. Why? Because I know that it is super, super good for my mood. It's super good for my energy as well because it gives me more energy, it gives me clarity, it gives me focus. But which part of me needs this? Which part of me is wanting to do this? That's what I want you to be thinking about. I also love to stretch and I love to meditate first thing in the day. Why? Because it sets the tone for the rest of my day. And why is that important? Well, there's a part of me that wants to make sure that I'm completely aligned. So, as I'm telling you this, I'm asking you to think about the different parts of you. Why is this important? Because if you don't know which part of you is running the show, then you run the risk of letting something that's in what we call the shadow, something that is unconscious, run the show instead. Now, the shadow doesn't have to be bad, so don't believe the rhetoric on that. The shadow is just the opposite to the light. So if I've got a part of me that really enjoys sleeping in, lazing on the couch, not doing much housework. We could say that that's problematic, right? But that's the part that enjoys rest. That's the part that enjoys slowing down. That's the part that enjoys not pushing. Why is that bad? So, can you see if I start to give myself more periods of rest in the day, if I start to allow myself more rest in my mind, then that part is not going to be pushing so firmly to sleep in, to ignore my alarm, to not do my morning routine. Yeah. That's what happens when we don't listen to the shadow part. It pushes us into an area we don't necessarily want to go to. So I wonder, is this confusing for you? I hope it's not too confusing, but this is all part of what I talk about in my soul mapping sessions. Soul mapping is where we get to understand the different parts of us and why they're so important to get to know, I guess, to stumble over all my words. But it's really about learning that there is a part of us who wants to establish good routines because it feels good. It makes us feel something. It actually helps our body to feel better, our mind to feel better. We feel clear, we feel focused, we feel like we're in control. It's super good. But there's also that other part. Oh, thanks, Mads. I'm glad. There's also that other part that's there going, guys, just slow your roll, slow down. Don't push so hard. Don't force yourself so much. Why? Because you're not allowing flow. So, when you start to understand the different parts of your soul, of who you are, and which one is running the show, and which one's forcing into overdrive, and which one's trying to get you to be the laziest person like a cat, then you can actually start to put the pieces back together and you can live from a place of intentional alignment. So, if that sounds like something you want to do, I need you to book a call. So, drop in the chat soul mapping, and I will send you a link to have a free 15-minute soul mapping session. I will go through this. I'll give you an example of how a couple of your parts are running the show, and then you can actually start to live more aligned and focused for the year ahead. So, first things first, drop in the chat soul mapping, and I will send you out that link. Second of all, start thinking about what is most important to you and how you can get there for the next few weeks. What's the routine you want to do? How do you want to move your body? How do you want to feel in the morning? What habits do you want to establish? And then I promise you, when you start to understand your different parts, you'll actually be winning and you'll have such a better life. I'll see you soon, guys.